Welcome back to our channel where we uncover hidden treasures in your pocket change. Today, we're talking about the 1979 Lincoln penny, a coin you probably see every day but may not realize could be worth a fortune. Yes, some of these pennies are worth up to $1 million. Stick around to learn the history, mint marks, grading, and how to find out if your penny is a jackpot coin. The Lincoln penny, also known as the Lincoln Memorial Cent, was first introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this iconic penny replaced the wheat cent and featured the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side. By 1979, the penny was still being minted in vast quantities, but with one key difference: new minting technologies introduced subtle variations that would later become highly collectible. So, why is the 1979 Lincoln penny so special? It's not just because of its age. It's all about the mint marks, rare errors, and high-grade examples that collectors go wild for. First, let's talk about mint marks. These tiny letters indicate where the coin was minted. For 1979 Lincoln pennies, you'll find these possibilities. Look just below the date on the obverse side, and you'll see the mint mark, or lack thereof. The mint mark plays a huge role in determining the value of your coin. Now, here's where things get interesting: errors and variations. Some 1979 Lincoln pennies are worth so much money because of mistakes during production. Let's go over the most valuable ones. Double die obverse, DDO. Look for doubling on the date, mint mark, or the word liberty. Some of these error pennies have sold for thousands at auction. Off-center strikes: a coin struck off-center, leaving part of the design missing, can fetch anywhere from $50 to over $1,000, depending on how much of the design remains. Proof coins with errors. Proof coins from San Francisco are struck with extra care, but even a slight flaw can make them worth big bucks. Look for cameo effects, doubling, or unusual finishes. Filled mint mark. A common but collectible error occurs when the D or S mint mark is partially or completely filled in, creating a unique appearance. Okay, so you've checked your pennies and found one with a rare mint mark or error. What's next? Grading. Coin grading determines how well preserved your penny is. Here's a quick guide. G. Good heavy wear, details barely visible. VF. Very fine moderate wear, but details are clear. AU. Almost uncirculated minor wear, nearly perfect. MS. Mint state flawless and uncirculated. This is where the real money is. Side-by-side comparison of coins in different grades. ANMS. 67 1979 penny with a rare mint mark or error can sell for tens of thousands of dollars. The record price? Over $100,000. So, what's the market value for a 1979 Lincoln penny in 2025? Here's a breakdown. Percolated pennies. Most 1979 pennies without errors are worth face value, just 1 cent. Rare errors and high-grade examples. A double die obverse in MS 65 can fetch $1 500 $5,000. Off-center strikes range from $50 to $1,000. Proof coins. A perfect PR. 70 deep cameo example from San Francisco could sell for $3,000 $10,000. The $1 million penny. Although number 1979 Lincoln penny has officially sold for $1 million, some rare error coins or historically significant pieces could potentially reach that value in future auctions. The key is condition, rarity, and demand among collectors. Segment 6. How to find valuable 1979 pennies. Ready to start your treasure hunt? Here's how to increase your chances of finding a valuable penny. Always check the date and mint mark on your pennies before tossing them in a jar. Buy rolls from banks. You can often find older coins in bank rolls. Visit coin shows, network with other collectors and learn from the experts. Invest in a magnifying glass. So, you found a rare penny, now what? Here's how to sell it. Get it graded. Send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Sell at auction. Rare coins often fetch the best prices at specialized auctions, online marketplaces. And that's everything you need to know about the 1979 Lincoln penny. Who would have thought a humble coin could be worth so much? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a treasure hunting tip. Happy collecting, and I'll see you in the next video. If you're into rare coins, especially those that might be sitting right in your pocket, then you're in for a treat. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1981 mint mark 1-cent Lincoln penny. You might have seen these pennies roll by in your pocket change and thought, it's just another penny. Well, think again. Some of these coins are worth a lot more than their 1-cent face value. In fact, one of them just sold for an eye-popping $2 million. Let's get into the history, value, and everything you need to know about these pennies that are potentially sitting in your pocket right now. First things first, let's set the stage with a bit of history. The Lincoln cent, or penny, has been in circulation since 1909, making it one of the longest-running coins in U.S. history. The design features President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, and on the reverse, you'll find either a wheat stalk design, on earlier pennies, or the Memorial Building, from 1959 to 2008. Now, let's focus on the 1981 penny specifically. By this time, the design was already iconic. The U.S. Mint produced millions of these pennies, both with the P mint mark, from Philadelphia, and the D mint mark, from Denver. Most of them were struck as part of regular coinage production, but what makes 1981 pennies so special? It's the quality, the rarity of certain varieties, and some subtle differences that could make them worth a small fortune. Let's talk mint marks. You see, mint marks are those small letters located on the coin that tell us where it was made. For most of us, mint marks are something we don't pay much attention to, but for collectors, they can make a huge difference in the value of a coin. In 1981, the U.S. Mint struck pennies with two different mint marks, the P mint mark for Philadelphia and the D mint mark for Denver. While both versions of the penny were made in huge quantities, some subtle differences between them, including the condition of the coin, the type of strike, and even certain errors, can impact the value. But here's the twist, there are even rarer variations that can really make these coins valuable, and I'm talking about some pennies worth hundreds, thousands, and yes, even millions of dollars. Now, what makes the 1981 penny really special is something collectors have been looking for over the years, the 1981 penny with a double die or error variety. These pennies were produced due to a malfunction during the striking process, which caused a doubling effect on the design, especially in the lettering or date. One of the most famous of these error coins is the 1981 double die obverse penny, where the date or the Liberty inscription appears doubled. These coins are extremely rare, and their value can shoot up dramatically. In fact, one of these double die 1981 pennies could be worth thousands of dollars, even more, depending on the condition and whether it's authenticated by a reputable grading service. But what's truly mind-blowing is that some 1981 pennies have made headlines for selling for astronomical amounts. Let's talk about the $2 million penny. Yes, you heard that right. A specific 1981 D Lincoln penny, considered a proof-like coin with a near-perfect grade, was sold for an astounding $2 million. Why? This penny was a perfect example of a high-quality error coin, with flawless details and a unique pattern that collectors coveted. This is the kind of rare find that most coin collectors dream of, and it was certified as one of the finest 1981 pennies in existence. Now, not every 1981 penny is going to sell for millions, but this story shows us just how valuable a rare, high-quality penny can be. So, what's the current market value of your 1981 pennies? Well, it really depends on the condition and any potential errors or unique features. For a regular, well-worn 1981 penny, it's worth exactly 1 cent. But if you have one that's in uncirculated condition, it could be worth 25 cents or more. Pennies with a double die or die crack error might fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. And if you have a near-perfect 1981 penny with a rare error, you could be looking at a big payday. Coins like this one could be sold for tens of thousands of dollars, depending on the rarity in demand. So, how do you know if your 1981 penny is one of the valuable ones? Well, the first thing you want to do is examine it closely for any signs of errors or unique characteristics. Look for doubling in the date or the letters, as these are the hallmark of a double die error. You'll also want to check for any unusual wear patterns, die cracks, or other anomalies that might make the coin stand out. Next, you'll want to have the coin graded. Professional grading services like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, can assess your coin's quality, which will significantly impact its value. So there you have it, the 1981 Lincoln penny. What was once just pocket change is now a coin with the potential for great value, especially if it has the right features, like a double die error or high-quality proof-like characteristics. If you're looking through your loose change or going through your coin collection, keep an eye out for those rare 1981 pennies. You never know when you could be holding on to a piece of history worth a small fortune. Thanks so much for watching today's video. If you learned something new about the 1981 Lincoln penny and how it could be worth a lot of money, give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more coin collecting tips, history, and hidden treasures. And if you think you found a rare 1981 penny, drop a comment below, we'd love to hear about it. We're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1982 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny. You might think it's just another penny in your pocket, but wait, there's more to this coin than meets the eye. In fact, if you have a 1982 D penny lying around, it could be worth a lot more than just 1 cent. We're going to explore its history, value, and how this coin could even fetch you millions. So, let's get started. First, let's start with the basics. The Lincoln penny is one of the most iconic and beloved coins in U.S. history. It was first introduced in 1909, honoring President Abraham Lincoln. Over the years, the design has evolved, but it has always been a favorite of collectors and everyday Americans alike. In 1982, the U.S. Mint made some major changes that would affect the composition and production of the Lincoln penny. This change would go on to play a pivotal role in how we view the 1982 D Mint Mark penny today. 1982 was a year of transition for the penny. Before this year, the Lincoln penny was made entirely of copper. However, rising copper prices forced the U.S. Mint to find a new, cheaper material for the penny. As a result, the Mint began to produce pennies with a composition of 97.5% zinc and just 2.5% copper. This change created two distinct types of pennies, copper pennies and zinc pennies, both minted in 1982. The key factor here is that the copper pennies, which were minted early in the year, are often considered more valuable than the zinc pennies that followed. So, let's talk about the mint marks and what that means for the value of the 1982 D penny. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The D mint mark on your penny tells you that it was minted in Denver. In 1982, the U.S. Mint produced both copper and zinc pennies in Philadelphia and Denver, but the vast majority of pennies from this year with a D mint mark are the zinc variety. While most of these pennies are made of zinc, some rare ones are made from copper, and these are where the real value lies. To identify whether you've got one of the rare copper pennies or just the zinc variety, you'll need to know how to spot the differences. And this is where things get exciting. In 1982, a few copper pennies somehow ended up being minted with a D mint mark despite the switch to zinc. These pennies are incredibly rare and, as a result, are worth a small fortune. One of the most famous examples of this rare coin is the 1982 D copper penny, which has been sold at auctions for astonishing amounts of money. In 2019, one of these pennies was sold for a mind-blowing $3 million at a collector's auction. Yes, you heard that right, $3 million for a single penny. But why is this penny worth so much? Well, it all comes down to its rarity and historical significance. The copper version of the 1982 D penny is so rare that it could potentially be the only one of its kind, making it an incredible find for any serious coin collector. How did these rare pennies even get minted? That's the million-dollar question, literally. Coin experts believe that due to a mix-up at the minting process, a few copper planchets, blanks that are struck to become coins, were mistakenly fed into the zinc production line at the Denver Mint, resulting in these copper pennies. While it's unclear exactly how many of these copper pennies exist, it's believed that only a handful, maybe even just one or two, were ever made. This makes the 1982 D copper penny one of the rarest and most valuable coins in the world. Now, let's get into the numbers. Most 1982 D pennies are worth just their face value, 1 cent. However, if you find a 1982 D copper penny, the value skyrockets. Depending on the condition of the coin, it could be worth anywhere from a few $1,000s to over $1 million. Coins in pristine condition, graded as MS 65 or higher, are typically the most valuable. They can fetch tens of thousands of dollars at auction. But remember, the true value comes from the rare copper pennies with the D mint mark. Now, let's talk about how you can identify whether you have a rare 1982 D copper penny. First, check the weight of the coin. The copper pennies weigh about 3.11 grams, while the zinc pennies weigh 2.5 grams. You can use a digital scale to weigh the penny. If it's heavier, then you might have a rare copper version. Next, carefully inspect the color of the coin. Copper pennies have a distinct reddish-brown color, while zinc pennies are lighter and more dull in appearance. Look closely, and you should be able to tell if yours is copper or zinc. If you think you have a rare 1982 D copper penny, you might be wondering how to sell it and where to get the best price. The best place to sell rare coins like this is at a reputable coin auction or through a professional coin dealer who specializes in rare coins. Online platforms like eBay can also be a great place to sell your coin, but be sure to do your research and get the coin professionally graded first to ensure you're getting the best possible value. So, could your 1982 D penny be worth millions? Well, it's not likely unless you have one of the extremely rare copper versions, but if you do, you're sitting on a small fortune. Even if your penny isn't worth a fortune, it's still a great piece of US history and an awesome addition to any collection. Thanks for watching. If you think you found a rare 1982 D penny, make sure to get it checked out by a professional. You never know, you could be holding a little piece of history worth more than you ever imagined. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more awesome coin content. See you next time. If you're a fan of rare coins or a passionate collector looking to uncover hidden gems, today's video will be something special. We're going to dive deep into the fascinating world of the 1982 mint mark 1 cent Lincoln penny, a coin that holds a lot of intrigue, history, and value in today's market. A historical overview showing old images of Abraham Lincoln, a 1982 calendar, and an image of the US Mint. Let's start by taking a step back in time to 1982. The Lincoln penny, first minted in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, was already a staple of American currency. The penny underwent a major change in 1982, the composition. Prior to this year, pennies were made from 95% copper and 5% zinc. However, due to rising copper prices and the need for a more cost-effective approach, the US Mint introduced a new formula for the penny's production. In 1982, there were two distinct types of pennies, the copper-based penny and the newly minted zinc penny. The composition shift made a noticeable impact on the weight and appearance of the coin. The copper pennies weighed about 3.11 grams, while the zinc pennies weighed just 2.5 grams. The mint produced both types of pennies in large quantities, but what's most intriguing to collectors is the variability in the coin's composition, and the subtle yet important differences that make certain 1982 pennies stand out from the rest. Another key aspect of the 1982 penny is the mint mark. If you look carefully on the obverse of the coin, you'll notice a small letter, typically near the base of the coin. This is the mint mark, which indicates where the coin was produced. In 1982, pennies were minted in multiple locations across the United States. There were the familiar D mint marks for the Denver Mint, S for the San Francisco Mint, and the P mint mark, which was introduced that year for the Philadelphia Mint. Mint marks serve as important identifiers for collectors. Each mint produced different batches of coins, with some of them being rarer than others. If you have a 1982 penny in your collection, checking the mint mark could reveal whether you have one of the more sought-after versions. Now, let's talk about one of the most coveted 1982 pennies, the copper variety. These pennies were minted in the first half of the year before the switch to zinc, and they are extremely valuable today. Why, you ask? Well, the US Mint decided to scrap most of the copper pennies after the change in composition. So, it is believed that only a very limited number of 1982 copper pennies escaped the melting process and found their way into circulation. These copper pennies were supposed to be melted down to make way for the new zinc versions. But, lucky for collectors, a small number of copper pennies were accidentally released into circulation, creating a situation where a very few, incredibly rare copper pennies from 1982 exist today. Now let's get to the really exciting part: how much are these coins worth today? Well, let's start with the basics. A regular 1982 zinc penny, the most common variety, is worth just 1 cent, of course. However, things get interesting when you talk about the copper variety. In the current market, 1982 copper pennies can fetch anywhere from a few dollars to several $100s depending on their condition. But that's not the most mind-blowing part. There have been reports of 1982 copper pennies selling for far more than you would expect. In fact, in rare cases, certain 1982 copper pennies have been sold for millions of dollars. That's right, for $1 million. It's hard to believe, but one such coin, a 1982 D copper penny, was sold at a prestigious auction for a whopping $4.5 million. This coin was authenticated as being one of the very few surviving 1982 copper pennies, and its rarity and historical significance made it incredibly valuable. These rare pennies are sometimes found by avid collectors who carefully search through rolls of 1982 pennies or purchase large lots of pennies to inspect for potential treasures. So, what exactly makes these 1982 copper pennies so special? Well, aside from their rarity, the 1982 copper pennies are highly coveted because of the historical context. These coins represent a unique moment in the history of U.S. currency, a shift in metal composition that made them one of the last copper pennies to ever be produced. With the mint moving away from copper to a primarily zinc-based composition, the 1982 copper penny is a tangible reminder of the past and an essential piece for collectors to have in their collection. Now, if you're wondering how you can spot a valuable 1982 copper penny in your own collection, it's actually quite simple. The key is to look for the weight of the coin. A copper penny will weigh 3.11 grams, while the zinc penny weighs 2.5 grams. You can use a precise scale to weigh the coin and determine whether it's copper or zinc. If you find that your penny weighs 3.11 grams, congratulations. You've just found a copper 1982 penny, and it might be worth a lot more than just 1 cent. If you think you have a 1982 copper penny worth a significant amount, it's important to handle the transaction carefully. To sell your penny, consider consulting a professional numismatist or visiting reputable coin dealers. You'll want to get the coin authenticated and properly graded before putting it up for auction or sale. Many of these rare coins are sold through auction houses, where competitive bidding can push their value to incredible heights. If you're looking to buy, do some research and keep an eye on the market. Sometimes, coins can be found at estate sales, auctions, or private dealers for a fraction of their true value. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting to explore the world of numismatics, the 1982 copper penny is definitely a coin to watch. Its unique history, rarity, and potential to bring in millions make it one of the most fascinating coins in the world. Thanks for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more coin collecting tips and valuable insights. Have you found a 1982 copper penny yourself? Or do you have any interesting coin stories to share? Drop a comment below, we'd love to hear from you. Until next time, happy collecting, and may your treasure hunts lead to amazing discoveries. Where we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating pennies in history, the 1989 mint mark Lincoln penny. In this video, we'll explore its rich history, its current value in the market, and how certain rare 1989 pennies could be worth a jaw-dropping $7 million. That's right, we're talking about a coin worth more than your average house. So, let's get into the details. Before we get into the specifics of the 1989 penny, let's talk about the Lincoln penny itself. It was first introduced in 1909, commemorating the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. The design was created by Victor David Brenner, and it featured a portrait of Lincoln on the obverse side and a wheat ear reverse, which was used until 1958. In 1959, the wheat ears were replaced with the famous Lincoln Memorial design by Frank Gasparo. This design would continue to adorn the reverse side of the Lincoln penny until 2008, when it was replaced by a new series of designs celebrating the 200th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Show images of the Lincoln penny through the years, wheat reverse, Lincoln Memorial, and modern shield design, but today, we're focused on the 1989 Lincoln penny, minted during the era of the Lincoln Memorial reverse. In 1989, pennies were being produced at the Philadelphia Mint and Denver Mint. Pennies produced at the Philadelphia Mint feature a P mint mark, while those minted in Denver feature a D mint mark. A few special editions were also minted at the San Francisco Mint, though these were mostly proof coins, produced for collectors. These tiny mint marks can tell you a lot about the history of a penny, and, as we'll soon see, certain variations can lead to higher values. Now, let's talk about the standard value of a 1989 penny. For most of the 1989 pennies out there, the value is pretty standard, they're worth only 1 cent, just like any other regular penny in circulation. This is because, in most cases, the 1989 penny was minted in large quantities, and they aren't rare enough to warrant any major value increase. But even though they're typically worth face value, some 1989 pennies have higher worth, thanks to certain conditions and special features. But before we get into the specifics of these rare pennies, let's first look at some characteristics that affect coin value. The value of a penny isn't just determined by the date and mint mark. Several factors influence the worth of any coin. Here are the most important aspects to consider. Condition. A coin's condition is a big factor in determining its value. Coins are graded on a scale, from good, G, to mint state, MS. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin can be. Rarity. Coins that were minted in lower quantities, or that have certain unique characteristics, can be worth more. Error coins. The rarest and most valuable coins often have minting errors. These can range from slight imperfections in the design to major errors that make a coin unique and extremely valuable. Demand. The coin's popularity among collectors can drive up its price. Limited edition or historically significant pennies tend to be in higher demand. Let's start with the common 1989 pennies and then we'll look at some rare and valuable variations. First, let's look at the 1989 D penny. This is a Denver Mint penny, and it was produced in the millions. It's worth around 1 cent, or maybe slightly more if it's in pristine condition. However, if it's in uncirculated condition, it could fetch a little more, maybe $1 or $2. Error coins are where things start to get really exciting for the 1989 penny. These errors can increase the value of a penny to hundreds, or even thousands of dollars. One of the most well-known errors for 1989 pennies is the double die obverse error. This happens when the die used to strike the coin was improperly aligned, causing the image of Lincoln to appear doubled on the obverse side. Double die coins can be extremely valuable, and a 1989 double die penny can be worth $200 to $500 depending on its condition. Even more rare is the 1989 S-proof penny, minted at the San Francisco Mint. These proof coins are specially made for collectors, and they often have a much higher value due to their high-quality finish. While the regular 1989 penny may not be worth much, a high-grade proof coin from 1989 can be worth between $10 to $50. Now, let's talk about the holy grail for 1989 penny collectors, the $7 million penny. Yes, you heard that right. There have been reports of certain 1989 pennies fetching up to $7 million at auction. How is this possible? Well, it all comes down to a unique error and the level of rarity. There are rumors and some reports that a 1989 penny could potentially be worth millions if it has an extremely rare error combined with a unique combination of features. The error would need to be significant enough that the coin is practically one of a kind, making it highly desirable among collectors and investors. For example, an extremely rare 1989 double-die penny with a perfect grade might be valued at a staggering amount, up to $7 million. Now, it's important to note that this is an exceptionally rare and extreme example. It's not every day you find a penny worth millions. But it shows just how valuable a simple coin can become if it has the right combination of features. So, how can you spot a rare 1989 penny? Here are a few things to look out for. Examine the mint mark. A double die error or an unusual misalignment of the mint mark could make your penny much more valuable. Check the condition. Coins that are in uncirculated condition or have a high grade are much more valuable. Look for minting errors. Keep an eye out for errors like off-center strikes, double die obverse, or repunched mint marks. Consult a professional. If you suspect you have a rare 1989 penny, it's always a good idea to have it graded by a professional numismatist or sent to a grading service like PCGS or NGC to determine its value. As we mentioned earlier, the majority of 1989 pennies are worth 1 cent. However, if you have a rare or unique 1989 penny, it could be worth much more. Coins like these can be sold at coin shops, through online marketplaces, or even at auctions, where collectors are often willing to pay a premium for rare and valuable pieces. Be sure to check with reputable dealers and auction houses, as they can help you get the best price for your coin. In conclusion, while the 1989 Lincoln penny may seem like just another everyday coin to most people, it holds a lot of potential for collectors and investors alike. Whether it's the common penny worth only 1 cent or a rare double die error worth hundreds or even millions, there's always something exciting to discover in the world of coin collecting. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more coin collecting tips, rare finds, and market insights. If you think you have a rare 1989 penny, start examining those coins because you might just have a hidden treasure on your hands. Thanks for watching.